Alex, why don't you tell the 2 or 3 people that are watching this who you are, what you do, and why are you here in New Braunfels, Texas, of all places, right?
Yeah. So, it seems like a lot of people don't keep their promises anymore. And, at first it seems like just like social commentary, people complaining about things. But no, I mean, think about that. Think about what people promise first. Let's take New Year's resolutions, for example, right? People on that list, top things: quit smoking, lose weight. I mean, these are important things. We're talking about adult onset diabetes. We're talking about cancer from smoking. Like, promises matter a lot. Or the promise to take care of your kid. These commitments are incredibly important. So the reason why I'm passionate about this is that I once knew a man who was good with his promises. My father. A handshake means something kind of guy, and a little old school like that. Yeah. And my father unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer, and this guy's gonna kill us. And he was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer, and he passed away. I gave his eulogy. I talked about this thought of a promise. I introduced this concept called a promise card, but it really was just this snowballing viral social media thing. I know people say viral all the time, but what does that even mean? But we've distributed 11.5 million promise cards to over 153 countries. This thing I introduced at my father's funeral. Yeah. And
in fact, it's this right here.
Yes, it is.
I have a stack of it right here.
Yeah. And so it's people would write all kinds of things. I mean, and of course the kids at Comal, I mean, they're writing these promise cards. They're in this chapter. They're working on their own self-control. But at any rate, promises, they matter, and I feel like some of the world needs reminded of that.
It's the most the simplest thing, and it's maybe a little bit cliche-ish and folksy in some sense, but let me tell you, it resonates with our students, myself certainly, and others around us. And the simple act of a promise, as you said, it is so undervalued. Mm-hmm. And to kind of bring it to some attention, to say a promise for the sake of promise is such a I don't know. Yeah. It's pretty powerful, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, and it's okay to think this way, but we always hope for like miracle solutions, right? Right. New technology, innovation, miracle cure. But what if the world just did what they said they were going to do in the first place? Yep. I mean, like literally, we actually do have miracles already, right? Like, let's take a pill to help with a heart condition. We understand how to rehabilitate people from a physical therapy perspective. Yeah. We understand. There was a point where we didn't know what you had to eat or do in order to get better, but now we do. Right. And now we do have surgeries. Now we do have all these things. Now we do have. I mean, there's a point in this country where we hoped and prayed for an education system. Right. And then we got it. Right. And now the point is, well, all you have to do is now do it. Right. Now that's easier said than done, so I'm not trying to simplify it too much. Right. But therein lies the interesting place that a promise has in particularly a developed country. Yeah. Because if you go to somewhere in the world where you're still struggling to get clean water and access to roads and transportation and jobs, like there are other arguments, there are other conversations to have, there are other priorities to have. But when you are in a place where there's just so much possibility, right? Even in despair, there's still so much possibility. Promises, self-control, the ability to attain a goal, all of a sudden has this heightened importance because things are actually possible. Right.
Hey, let me ask you this. You have spoken to our kids now multiple times. I mean, we really have great chapters going on at Smithson Valley High School, Mex, Canyon High School, Smithson Valley, you name it. And the middle schools are really gonna act on it. But I see a lot of kids, after you talk, coming up to you, hugging you, talking with you. And I know, obviously the names are not necessarily the important thing, but what are they saying to you? Because let me tell you, there's some emotion out there. Yeah. And I won't even speak specifically to your district. I'll just say in general. Kids will come up to me and tell me that they have been abused.
that they have been raped, that they have lost their brother or sister to cancer, that like we don't, as adults, I don't think we forget, maybe, I don't know, we just, everything that's happening to us is happening right next to a child.
Right.
And that is part of the reason I'm so passionate about our work in schools, because these children are going through things that, quite frankly, I, as an adult, am not yet even prepared to handle. But they shake your hand, they look you in the eye and say, I know that I don't deserve this, but I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get help. I'm going to figure out myself. Whatever it is, obviously we always refer them to their counselors and people to when things are at a certain level of seriousness. But these kids have challenges that I don't think the average person really gets, because a lot of these issues are purposefully hidden, because they're embarrassing for right or wrong reasons. They don't want to talk about it, but they sometimes do to me.
You and I are not certified child psychologists, that nature. But in your opinion, why do you think some of our kids have a hard time going to their parents in some sense? You know what I mean? I mean, they want to talk to you and sometimes to me, but man, what holds them back, do you think?
I honestly don't. I think some of that is weirdly in our blood almost, that we don't trust. Because what I'm saying to these kids is almost sometimes they'll literally say, like, my dad says that to me all the time, but I didn't get it until right now. Right. It's like nothing is different.
Right.
Like, who taught me all of what even I'm saying? Right. Mostly like dads and moms.
Right.
And of course my own father. So I think sometimes it just coming at different angles. That's literally it. This is not a perfect science. Character education, human behavior, child psychology, even the most expert of experts, still it's hard to understand it fully. So that's why it takes a village. Some things are going to work for some people, others are not, and you've got to believe in the change enough to just keep trying. And that's why I think assemblies are good. Our school-wide impact program, our chapters
are fantastic,
that you guys have helped us grow so much. We've even something so simple like we send a letter home to the parents.
Yes.
Just to start a conversation.
It's been awesome.
Can be meaningful.
I gotta tell you, Alex. I'm sure you've heard this many times, but I'm gonna say this. I mean, your dad is extremely proud of you.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
I appreciate it very much.